So welcome to the 7th episode of Sim Rig Review. It's basically a rip-off type of content that tries to tie up random Frank P with Sim Racing Reddit. Today's video is going to be about high-end, awesome and aesthetic rigs that you left on our Discord. If you want to participate in a future video, press that subscribe button. Also go to our Discord and there's a channel there called Your Rigs. Post some high quality pictures and in the future they might be picked up. The first entry is from Saint and this one is themed. It's about Star Wars. It will have some sort of racing and also flying. On the top we have three wonderful pictures from Star Wars starships, in this case the X-Wing, the T-70 if I'm not mistaken, and some TIE fighters in the middle. Adding pictures in the room always adds some charisma and always helps with building the theme that you want for your corner or for all of your room. Of course, what will be dominating this room, it will be the sim rig, and below it can be seen that it has used this corner rather well, much better than I am using indeed. There's even space for speakers in the central part of the rig. The rig itself has three very large monitors, three of OAC's 32-inch monitors running at 165 Hz. So that's a lot of real estate to have, and all of them are curved, which is going to help a lot with immersion level. In this picture, I really love how the LEDs are all mounted. It looks super aesthetic and super functional for both flying and racing. Of course, it seems that he's more centered towards racing, but all of this setup that is mounted on the FGT can be used, and I believe it should be used for flying as well. So he's using a CSW 2.5. Yeah, it has a very regular formula wheel from Fanatec, V3 pedals, a shifter from Fanatec as well, a fantastic button box over here. I'm not sure if this one is the homemade one, and on the side he has a Cytec OTAS X52 for his flying. Even his tower over here at the bottom is not using a lot of space. There is some sort of cable management far better than I have in my own rig, so it makes all of the rig super functional, running at triple screens. This is really the type of setup that I would like to have at home if I had the space for this amount of screen usage, but then again you would need a lot of firepower to run them, and running Assetto Corsa Competizione as we are here, we're seeing 65 FPS, which is, you know, it's okay. It's not perfect, but at 67 FPS for Assetto Corsa Competizione at this resolution, it certainly needs a beefy computer. This sim rig is a wonderful thing to see. I really love it. Our second entry is from Assetto Racing, and can we say Porsche? Because everything is modeled around Porsche in his setup. So we have a McLaren GT3 wheel dominated with a sticker from Porsche. His wonderful background wallpaper is a Porsche 911 RSR over here. It looks fantastic, everything modeled around it. And this setup is quite interesting. So all of his chassis is from Pro Sim Racing. It's a PSR1 with the PSR1 monitor stand, PC stand from Pro Sim Racing as well. And in the case of the main screen, it's a Samsung C49. So we have a very big ultra wide over here centering your attention into it, and it will cover pretty much everything that you'll see, at least on the horizontal axis. And he's running basically an all Fanatec rig with the aforementioned McLaren GT3 wheel, a CSW 2.5, Fanatec V3s, and then the shifter, and also this wonderful button box from DSD with lots of functionalities that you can basically try to get your hotkeys and your stuff over there to change the settings as you need from your car. The V3 pedals have been slightly customized with the accessories you have in the box, with basically the lifters and also a D-shaped pad over here. I'm not a very big fan of these, but a lot of people like them. And then, as you can see, looking back, once again, Porsche. Beautiful Sparko seat with that livery. I love the wallpapers, the pictures that he has hanged on the wall. Now I'm thinking of getting those instead of, you know, those ones that I have on the back. These look fantastic, and no matter how you look at, it's just such a dominating view, and he even has space for a bottle of water, which is fantastic. You should always hydrate when you are sim racing. It just dominates that part of your room, and even the flooring goes really nice with this. This room is not only the sim rig, it's very well mixed and matched. Also on the desk, it has the same basically type of woods as the floor. There's some Star Wars stuff over here with Death Star. There's a Stormtrooper and also a Boba Fett, I believe there. And once again, mixed and matched with Porsche stuff. Man, this is such a kick-ass setup, and look at this computer. Not even sure what type of GeForce RTX it is, if it's a 2 series or a 3 series, something like that, but it has also the indication of your temperatures. It's super well decorated. This is an amazing piece of content over here, and I believe he is on our Discord. So you should join our Discord and subscribe. Third entry, it's from Elaf. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, but regardless, my reaction to this was holy shit. It's really interesting. So it's a regular aluminum extruded chassis, but it has a lot of stuff in it, and it's still in a super compact frame. I believe this is to use with a VR headset, and you have a lot of stuff going on here. All of this sim rig was custom built to fit the purposes and needs of the LAF. Asus wheel, we have OSW 20 Newton meter, a wheelbase with a Momo attached to it, and we also have some using Velt pedals and a very interesting riser, I think, for his pedals. It really seems that it's so compact and everything is just fit to purpose. Even the cable management is done exceptionally well, considering all of the stuff that is running on this specific rig. We got the Quave sequential shifter. It's probably the first time I've seen this in the pictures, and also a using Velt sim handbrake. Very compact, very together, but you can see that in terms of ergonomics, it's exactly in the place that you wanted it to be for rally driving. This wonderful seat is a GT2Y from Sky, and it has 4 body shakers, and they're not small at all. We have 2 on each side and 2 on the back to add to extra immersiveness of driving this. On the using Velt pedals, you can see 4 knobs, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. I believe this is some sort of quick release for them if you want to adjust them or take them out and put them somewhere else, change it, whatever. So it's good to have something like that, because pedals are always the biggest pain in the butt to try to swap or to try to move them forwards and backwards, and having a solution like this, it's super useful for everyone. There are some also 3D elements printed, for example, the shrouds for these 200mm, I think, fans. So when you drive this on VR, because he's using a Oculus Rift S headset, you can get the sensation of, you know, fan blowing, and also can get you cool while you're driving. Over the series, I've seen many types of sim rigs. I've seen ones that are definitely prettier than this one, but in terms of usability, in terms of compactness, and in terms of features for such a small footprint, I think this is the best one over there. And I think there's a lot of stuff here that we can try to appreciate and learn from, especially where to mount your stuff and how to make it as compact and efficient as possible. This is indeed a great addition by LF. Next up, we have Nocturne, and Nocturne has a very straightforward high-end sim rig with a SimLab P1X, a very popular rig for very good reasons. It's an excellent platform to build from. It's not too expensive for the features and also for the quality it brings. Once again, we see featured the Samsung 49-inch ultra wides dominating all of the view, also on a stand from a SimLab. So if you want to bring the stand closer to you, if you want to have a maximum immersiveness from that curvature of the screen, you can do that by moving, you know, the stand forwards and backwards. It's somewhat of a better solution than, for example, what I have on my Simatic, where everything is integrated and there's a very limited possibility of adjustment on the rig, but something like this will give you the maximum amount of adjustability. As a seat, is using a SimLab bucket seat connected to some Speed Pro risers, and in the center we have a Fanatic, I believe it's a DD1, and then a McLaren GT3 wheel. A wonderful piece of equipment, a very good button box over here, but unfortunately it did not specify who is this from, and these three things over here that you see, they're called SimLEDs. I do have one, and for 50 pounds, they're actually pretty nice. It gives you all the information. You have three of them, so there's a lot of lights there. At the four edges of his cockpit, he has some bass shakers by Rankenhorn, so a lot of movement or a lot of feeling you can have through these bass shakers. And the pedals are Usigenveld Sprint, a wonderful piece of kit, and the first time we see it in this episode. This cockpit has a lot going for it. It's once again compact, not as compact as LF ones, but it has everything that you need in that small footprint. It has a wonderful piece of equipment mounted to it, and it's something that you see a lot in high-end sim rigs for very good reason. SimLabs build probably the best 80/20 or extruded aluminum cockpits that you can buy for your money, that are already basically with all the parts that you need. It's super rigid, it's super flexible, and you can mount a lot of interesting stuff that you want for your sim rig. The fifth entry is from Sprocket Husky, and it's a wonderful aesthetic entry. It's not as high-end sim rig that you're gonna see today, but everything, it's wonderful to see, wonderful to look at, and we do have a very interesting combination of colors, at least from the perspective of a colorblind person such as myself. Let's start with this PC case. It's wonderfully decorated. I'm not too sure about this smoke grenade over here, but whatever, it's his choice. And I'm not also too sure about the way that the air is moving towards this case, but maybe it works. I just never seen it like this. So it comes from the back and from the bottom and goes through the front on the AIOs. I always thought you'd want it on the back and on the top because of the way that air moves, hot air moves. It's lighter, it just goes up. But maybe it works, maybe it's just me that it's too old. We didn't see his rig because his rig is movable, in this case a GT Omega Titan with some TLCMs at the bottom. Wonderful piece of kit, not very expensive, load cell and hall sensor. One of these days I have to try one of those out. Connected to it, it's a third entry of a CSW V2.5s. Once again, really great piece of equipment. And I'm just drooling over this wheel. I believe it's a podium hub connected to a OMP Trecento wheel. I don't have any indication of what it is or not. And we do have some magnetic pedals over here. So in terms of usability, this type of wheel, despite not having a lot of buttons or not being, totally Formula or totally GT, it will cover pretty much all of use case scenarios, including GT and Formulas if you want to use it. In terms of the way that it's decorated, it's just a corner that we see, but we can see that he took some attention to detail and tried to mix match the colors. And I think for something more minimalistic and still doesn't have too much stuff connected into your sim rig, I think this is a good rig to take some hints from. The last rig of the day is from Hoopless Mazel. I hope I'm not mispronouncing his or her name, and it's once again one of those cases where the rig is taking shape in towards of the functionality that the user needs. In this case, we have a SimLab GT1 Evo. First time it appears on this series. It's connected to a SimLab monitor stand, and it has a SimLab Speed 3 seat. So we have a whole SimLab type of deal going on. It has a Fanatec DD1 with these podium wings or whatever they are, and you can see on the side a way to mount the Formula wheel. So we can see over here the room where this rig is not very big, and Hopeless Mazel is using more of the length of the room instead of the width. instead, like everybody is accustomed to. So in this case, even the wheel stand had to, or the monitor stand will have to qualify in some way to have everything centered and still being able to go past through this area if you want to. It kind of seems that this is left at the entry of the house or at the back of the house or something like that, because you do see a mat here for the outside. And on the side view, we can see Will over there dominating this big screen, which is a LG OLED 48CX. Will is on his way to 150,000 subscribers, which is a huge deal, and you could help me getting to 50,000 subscribers if you press that subscribe button. Connected also to Will, there are some Onkyo speakers, and I believe Hopeless Mazel uses this to race on a PlayStation, in this case a PlayStation 5, something that almost nobody has because there's still lack of components. Last but not least, the pedals. They are Mark I CSL Elites or CSL first version with the load cell, I believe, as well. I can't see it very well, but he did send the information that it has the load cell. So it's good to see that even console users are now starting to look to more high-end sim racing experience, and it's good to see this. And even this, I'm terribly envious of him because he has a huge ass screen, and his sim rig is super small and has all the things that he needs. It's a wonderful piece of equipment. Thank you very much for this. That's it for today. If you want to participate, don't forget to join our Discord. Leave your rig there. It doesn't matter if it's high-end or low-end or if it's something original. Post it there, and I'm really sure there will be some people that will appreciate it, or even like myself, take some hints of those and apply it to my own rig. Don't forget to subscribe and press that like button, and I'll see you next time.